Okay, so this is the new video, guys, about the scenario-based question answer of Zscaler. Okay, so who can see that video? Let me tell you a quick description of that video. So I made this video or those who are looking for job change. That's one. Second is ideally what you guys are getting from that, the video you're watching or you are reading the PDF and all, you just get it the definition level of explanation, right? Suppose interviewer asks the question, what is tunnel 1.0, what is tunnel 2.0? You can say that tunnel 1.0 used for web traffic, tunnel 2.0, cover everything, including thin client application, including web application, DNS. So all traffic should go by that, right? So this is the definition. Suppose if I will ask you the question, okay, suppose user working from remote and they are getting the slowness issue. Okay, in that case, how you can troubleshoot that kind of issues, right? If you are really not work on Zscaler, you really struggle on that. Is it not just simple plain explanation, right? So today I'm going to cover that. I will dig dive on that, like how you can see, how you can focus on those questions, right? Who's actually asking in the scenario based real time. Suppose somebody asks you the question, what is the last issue you fix in your current company, right? If you don't know, then it's difficult to understand and fix that issue, right? So I will tell you what that best answer to given that kind of question answer. So keep it paused till end. I will cover most of the thing on that. So let's get started. Okay, so let me start the first scenario. Okay, I will tell you here. So the question interviewer ask, okay, or how can explain that kind of question, like user working from home. Okay, I just understand the scenario of question and then you can see how I can answer. So according to that you can make it your answer. So user working from home. Okay, so this is the user who's working from home, right? Connected with their Geo Wi-Fi or whatever the ISP they are using in their home, right? Now this is your Zscaler data center DC, which suppose user belongs to Pune location, right? So the near to the Pune, Mumbai is the data center, right? I will tell you how this selected, right? Now, after Mumbai, maybe this Zscaler data center in Delhi, right? And after Delhi, this is your suppose head office, where your application installed, right? So suppose this is your office, right? And in this office, this is your app connector. After app connector, this is your I can say backend application. Okay, this is your internal application. Okay. Now the question may be asked by interviewer, or how you can understand that suppose your traffic, this particular user when access the website may be xyz.com, and user are complaining that this is website is very slow. Okay, so how we can resolve that issue when user facing the slowness issue working from home and user are using the private, this is your private application. Okay, this is not internet application. So I will tell you on both scenario. So when user accessing the private application, then what is the problem, what is the solution for that? And when user access the public URL or application, then what is the problem? In both cases user are facing the slowness issue. So let me first focus on ZPA, right? So you need to understand, okay, that's my approach. I want to you guys also follow that. Okay, so whenever you are getting any problem, like if you're facing something in related to any issue, okay, even any technology, I'm not even binding you for Zscaler. Okay, so suppose user is saying that, hey guys, I'm getting this a problem, right? How can fix it? Okay, just example for slowness, right? So you should connect with the user, okay, ask some question before going for troubleshooting, right? See, why I'm asking that, you need to connect with the user, because with connect with the user, you actually 90% problem you're automatically resolved once you connected with the user and get it the more insight from that. Okay, just example, okay, the same example, slowness issue, right? So suppose I got the ticket from user that xyz application is very slow. So now what I can do, I connect with the user and asking few questions. So first question, why I will ask question, I need to isolate that issue as much as possible, right? So that I can work on. So let me ask first question, is the application you are trying to access, it was working previously, it was working condition previously? If it was working, then what was the last working time? Okay, last working time. Why I will ask that question? Because once I get it that, okay, suppose user is responding that this application was working yesterday, but tomorrow, today onwards in the morning when I back to, connected my laptop with the internet, I'm working from home, this is having problem. Okay, so one thing you notice that, okay, this problem is not a fresh problem, this problem is not a new problem, right? It means that this is not provision problem, this is not configuration problem, right? As far so far now, I will tell you later part as well how you can identify those part. Now you know that, okay, it was working previously, okay, and user is saying this is happening from last since morning, okay. So now you need to validate, is there any change happen in your company in respective of that particular URL? Maybe your team colleague or any team member have done any change regarding that. If yes, then you can validate that. If no, then next question you can ask to user. Okay, so okay, so is this issue is permanently or intermittent, right? Because that is also important, right? So user is saying no, this issue is permanent, then you can work on that, that kind of scenario. If user is saying that this issue is intermittent, so intermittent issue always, guys, most of the time maybe local, internet having problem, or maybe there is a user level, local IT level of problem. I'm not saying 100%, but you can look up on that direction. But if permanent problem like user problem facing from since morning, then you can go on that. I will go with number one. Okay, having problem from since morning. Okay, the next question I will ask the user. Okay, now I'm not touching the Zscaler logs. Okay, I'm not saying that you guys cannot touch, like you just first you can work with this user. You can do, you can first check before even going to the call, that will be also good. But if user are available, so you connect with the user. Now you can ask the user, could you initiate the live traffic? So what do you need to do from this color side? You can put the filter. Okay, how can put the filter? Let me back to, yeah, I will show you in the live, scenario. So you can go under logs you will see the private access, right? So you can click on that and go into diagnostic. So ZPA diagnostic log, you got a dedicated option that called application domain. So the filter, suppose guys you haven't worked on these colors, so you can see that this is the very common, filter which people are using, even who are working on this color or not. So don't remember everything, just keep it focus on whatever I am explaining, because most of the time this is what people are asking, right? So let me put it that application domain here, and you can put it that suppose URL, let me put, because I know that one of the URL is configure ipchicken.com. You selected that. The next filter you can ask user, give me your username if you know that. So you can put at the username, let me put ptcb35 admin. Okay, so suppose you put at that username and the URL which user are hitting. Okay, and same time ask user to initiate the request, user hitting that request from their browser. Okay, you also put at the filter, right? If it's a live troubleshooting, go with 1 hour. Okay, so that will give you a lot of logs, right? So let me put again. I think I can pick this user, okay, because this user is currently live in logs. So if I use my username, so it should take time, right? So let me copy, and this user trying to access, what is that? That is 10.0.0.1. Okay, so let me put at that application domain. application domain, app domain, right? Sorry, this one. Okay. So now let me put standard. Oh, this should be IP. Let me put IP chicken only. Okay. ipchicken.com. Okay. Select both. Maybe suppose, see, right now I haven't any user, but you can select the user who you are troubleshooting with. You can put filter username and put whatever user you want, like, in our case PTCB35, this is my username. So you see that is coming here, you can select. I'm just reviewing that because I haven't any user like that, or even I haven't initiated the traffic. Okay, by the way, I let me initiate because I connected with the Zscaler, so I can do that. That's not a problem. Let me put at my username PTCB35 admin. Let me put a filter. You see, maybe right now I have a no logs. Let me hit that URL ipchicken.com, right? So I told you guys, this is I explained the example of SIPA. You can saw my previous video. Maybe I put it, so I will maybe adding in this video as well. So I explain in detail how SIPA work in ZPA, right? You can watch that video to understand what I'm doing here, right? Okay. So let me back to logs. So guys, see that I was not getting any logs. Let me refresh it. So hopefully one connection should be there. Right now, no. Let me try it again. Initiate the connection. Okay. Initiate the connection. Okay, you see one successfully connection I got. uh I need to all logs. You see, this is my username. Okay, ptcb35 admin. So guys, I will also adding one more point before coming to here. So how can I identify whether user connected with the Zscaler or not? One option is you can ask user to open that Zscaler client connector like this, and you will ask them to show that. Okay, so let me, one second guys, let me, is there, okay. So let me search it, Zscaler client connector. So you will see that. Okay, let me drag this here. Okay, so you see that I'm able to, I'm connected, right? So you see that Zscaler is on, right? ZPA, this is private access, means I have access of private access. So you see that this is the internet access, this is ZDX access. Most of the normal people have only three: ZPA, ZIA and ZDX. Okay, so you see like that. The second option, how can validate, you can go here and type ips.zscaler.com. Okay, so you see that you are accessing this internet via Delhi data center, because I'm currently, my location is Lucknow. So near to my location, Delhi is the nearest data center. So that's why I connected with Delhi data center, right? You see, this is the virtual IP. You see, this is the host name of that. So somebody is saying that what is the virtual IP? Actually, virtual IP is the actually, Zscaler is using thousands of devices behind the single single front device, right? So basically they are using multiple device behind the load balancer. So this is the load virtual IP, because behind this IP maybe they have a lot of server which running on, right? So they are using like based on the load of backend resources, they will send that request to backend. So the front, this is the virtual IP, this is the internet IP, which actually in the Delhi data center. This is my internet IP. Gateway, you will see always your user IP. This is the internet IP. This is the virtual IP, which actually hold by Zscaler. This is the username. Now you will see I'm connected with the Delhi data center. It means my laptop is connected with the Zscaler. Okay, that's proof is here. Okay. Now I also access that and I got it logs. Okay, I'm getting the logs. Okay, and you will see two three things here. Okay, before even I'm just telling you guys, also you can do the this. ns lookup. Okay, ns lookup, I will tell you, just look up this part first, then I'll back on that as well. So this is a connection. Okay, connection detail, you will see when I hit it, that I hit it on 2 6. This is the am in the morning, basically early morning. Okay, and this is the 31st of July, which is the last month of day. So today only, if you see that today I'm shooting video is the 31st of July, right? So this is the connection status showing that connection, connection closed by services. So what that mean is, this is the actually graceful connection closing. This is not error, right? So how can validate? Zscaler giving you some codes. I already told you some of the videos, right? So you can search here, go like Zscaler ZPA error code for connection, right? So it will give you list of all code. So if you see any code is something non-relevant to your problem, so you can go here, this URL. Okay, so and go under error, so we'll get it, that because whatever the error you are getting there, that should solution should be here. You see that, suppose you are getting the Zscaler internet security authentication error, so have a user authenticate to Zscaler client connector. If issue persist, export logs and contact to Zscaler support. Check system time. If your time is not synced with the Zscaler, so you see that you got this solution. So they are also telling you the solution. Right now we are getting error, not error, this is the connection closed by services. So hopefully this is not error message. Let me search it, connection closed by service edge. So I think I need to see the informational log as well. These all are error line. Okay, these are the I need on ZPA portal logs, right? I think this one is that. Yeah. So see, all our error are there. So you can pick any one of that. So based on the error you are getting right now, this is the gracefully connection close. So don't worry about that. So this is good, right? Because this is closing connection gracefully. Now let me back to the policy part. Suppose user maybe because connection is not blocking, because of if user are accessing the request, so slowness you should never come with the blocking connection. You see always allow, right? So that's one. You validate the user time duration. So and connection is allowed. So one thing is clear, that when user hitting request from their laptop, it will reaching to the Zscaler. Okay, so this part is okay, right? Now you see that user also, because you need to validate, you are checking the correct user, right? So user location is Delhi data center, right? This is very important. I will tell you later why this is important, right? My traffic coming by Azure services. Ideally my traffic should be come by a Zscaler client connector, because I am the remote location, but because of this traffic going by a SIPA, so that's why it's coming from Zia service edge. Okay, and this is of course service edge in Zurich, right? And this going by Zurich App Connector, and it's resolving IP chicken.com.443/443 or whatever that actually port column 443. Now, so all things looks good, and this has happened with the slowness issue, because slowness issue is look like traffic is reaching, but it's slow. So slowness is a little bit advanced level of troubleshooting, right? Because it take a lot of time, guys. It may be that cases when user complain these kind of issue, they take a month to resolve, right? So if you see this time, guys, this time is interesting. Where is that? This one. Policy processing time should be less. Okay, you see that 0.06 ms, which is very less, even within 1 ms, right? Less than 1 ms. And connection time setup, if you see this is increasing, this is also cause some latency. Okay, so you can validate policy processing under service edge, and you can validate under connector connection setup time. Okay, that's two things you need to validate. Now back, because you validated that from Zscaler side and the portal side, all looks good, so the problem not arise on here. So now what you need to do next? Okay, let me back to our board. Okay, so you, okay, this is the scenario, right? So the user are here. Now you need to identify, or not, now you need to validate. When you are connecting with the Zscaler, they should be connect with the correct data center. This is very common issue, guys. I will tell you why. Because Zscaler totally depend upon MaxMind database as a identify the public IP geolocation. Okay, what I'm saying is, suppose you go here, you type MaxMind geolocation, okay, and you got this IP. So you know, Zscaler using the MaxMind database to identify the geolocation source, the geo like longitude and latitude information of that particular public IP. Based on that, Zscaler assign you to the nearest data center. So maybe interviewer asked the question as well, how Zscaler selected the nearest data center from user location. So you can answer like Zscaler actually using MaxMind database, okay, and user public IP should be validated user location on MaxMind, and based on that location, it will identify what is the distance between that, or whatever the parameter it validate, whatever nearest data center to that location, user and request should be assigned to that. So in my cases, I'm in the Lucknow, so near to Lucknow, because in India they have a 4 data center, 5 right now, Hyderabad, Chennai, and Kolkata, Mumbai, and Delhi. So because every distance is so long from my distance, so that's the reason I connected to the Delhi data center, which is so far near to my location, right? The latency wise, I will get a less latency than that, right? So that's the reason I'm getting, and I'm connecting to Delhi data center. So back to original question. Okay, user are facing the slowness issue. So what you need to do, you can validate that, run the ip.gscaler.com and make sure that user connected to their nearest data center. So example, suppose user belongs to Israel and they are connecting to US data center, which is so far distant from Israel to US. So if traffic going bad at, then of course latency should be there. The slowness should be legitimate, right? So maybe what is the reason? The popular reason for that is actually your public IP should be detected by MaxMind database wrong geolocation, maybe Israel IP detected by this MaxMind into US. So because of that, Zscaler directly connected you instead of the Tel Aviv data center, which is in Israel, connected to US data center in New York, right? So this is very common issue. So if you got that kind of issue, you need to open ticket with Zscaler and ask them that, hey guys, my geolocation is getting the incorrect location, could you please correct with that, because of that Zscaler connected with the wrong data center which is not near to user location, which is so far. So they will fix it because they are using paid API of that, and they will fix it within 5-8 hours, right? Okay, so even before going to the Zscaler, I will suggest you how can validate whether this MaxMind detected your location is wrong location or not. So you can copy your public IP. Where is that? This is my public IP. You can validate on other open source tool as well, other threat intelligence as well. So what is my IP? Let me check on 3 2 tools so that I got a confident that this is not. Because you need to compare whether MaxMind, because Zscaler is using MaxMind, but for your extra verification, you can validate whether, because all threat intelligence or all open source should not detect wrong location. Okay, so you see this is also Lucknow, so it means my location is correct, right? Maybe you can validate if you search what is my IP location. You maybe get other website as well. I open randomly, guys. You see IP location. If I detect it here, I pick here. Okay, so it also hopefully tell the exact location as well. Okay, you see this is also showing Lucknow location. So one thing is clear that, guys, that if you compare with the all 3 or 4 open source tool and you identify that 3 are showing correct and this MaxMind is showing incorrect, So you can go with the Zscaler ticket, right? And guys, I will also show you how this important, okay, how this important that their public IP. Suppose people are asking that, suppose the only the parameter of public IP, okay, to change the data center, I say yes. Public IP is the only part which actually Zscaler highly depend upon max mind. If max mind detected location, wrong location or false positive location, Zscaler tag you with the different location, right, which may be having problem. So let me come to original question. You need to validate whether a user is connected to the correct data center or not. If wrong data center, then you need to validate the user IP address, public IP geolocation, that should be not wrong on maxmind. If wrong, then you can validate, compare with some other open source, check if the public IP address geolocation, if there is that is correct, then you need to go with the Zscaler tag and open ticket. Now I'm opening now. I'm changing my public IP, and you will see it's immediately changed my data center. So right now it's Delhi. Let me open my VPN because I'm using VPN as well. So let me open my Proton VPN. Okay. So hopefully I will connect with the, maybe US. I want to connect with the US. Okay. Let me search US. So, okay, this is United States, right? So let me connect with that and see what I'm getting, because what guys, really this is interesting experiment, right? If I connected with the US data, US, because my public IP should be US right now, right? So you see I'm connected with the United States right now. This is my public IP. So my public IP now change. I have no more in Lucknow. So let me refresh the connection and see how Zscaler immediately responds that, right? Ideally I will connect, I'm when I connected with my Airtel public IP, this is my public IP. So it given into Delhi data center. Now my public IP is changed. So what is my public IP? This is my public IP. Okay, 37.19. So let me just refresh the connection, and you see immediately it changed the data center. You see that, guys. Right now, one thing now you got it, that how it really depend upon public IP. So I changed my public IP to use a VPN. It immediately connected me with the last data center. Okay, you see this? Oh, where is that? Sorry. There it go. Okay, no problem. Let me open again. You see that it giving me the US data center, which is the last. Okay, so this is how it important, right? Now let me see the public IP, because again this is depend upon maxmind. So I'm going on maxmind database. I need to see the geolocation of this IP, right? Try for demo. Let me put at my public IP. So you see 37.19. And you see that, guys, I'm right now my public IP is showing that I'm United States in North America, Texas. Okay, so that's the reason I connected with the large data center, right? So how you can see that how really this color depend upon that, public IP. Okay, once now this part is clear. Now back to again some other point of view, right? You check that if something is wrong with the IP address, you can go with the Zscaler tag and fix that issue. Now I will tell you some other perspective, right? Suppose user, you see that, okay, the connectivity is okay, the public IP is okay, or maybe you need to validate from that same process. Now Zscaler giving you the more options, right? Zscaler saying, okay, I will give you the speed test. Okay, you no need to do a speed test like Okla or any other website. Otherwise, you maybe get a different output. You can use the Zscaler speed test. Okay, Zscaler speed test. So Zscaler is saying you can do the speed test. So in this speed test, I will tell you what is the speed when user connected with the Zscaler, what is speed when user without Zscaler. Okay, so let me compare both part. I put myself here. Okay, you see my location is Texas right now, so the speed I'm getting is maybe not that much because my traffic going under sea, and then it will go to the internet, right? So just wait for some time, guys. So let's see how much speed I'm getting. So this website I will put it in the description, right? You can go through that and see that how you can validate that slowness issue, right? So it should take time little bit, so just keep it. And meanwhile guys, it's testing that. I will suggest you, I'm you should visit our website. You can WhatsApp me for any suggestion, any course guidance or anything, okay? And we have a good blog right on the ai.techclick.in, our website. You can visit also, our WhatsApp group. We have a community. You can follow me on LinkedIn. So okay, so whatever your question in your mind, if you're looking training anything, you can just ping on the WhatsApp, okay? So that number you will get it in the comment description, okay? So you can reach out to me directly. And guys, I will announce one thing. I'm launching one new portal, okay? So that will help you out to all students who are preparing for interview. By the way, there is a lot of interview question already put it on the ai.techclick.in. You should watch and you should visit on that, even scenario based, okay? So okay, that was a promotional part. Now back to our course, okay? So guys, you see that I'm here, right? So I connected myself because I'm the hostel right now. So all the path which coming from this to Zscaler, okay, Zscaler data center. So it is just minimum latency. But you see why this latency is there, because you see that how the my traffic is going. Ideally what happened, I connected from India to US first, and then from US it will go to the Dallas data center. So that's the reason, because when I'm sending traffic, it will go under sea, then it will go to the US VPN server. After VPN, it will go to the internet, right? So that's the reason it take a huge speed. Like reduce the speed, even the one third of speed which I have. So let me disconnect that. Okay, I'm just adding one more part. Okay, yeah, let me disconnect the proton and see that whether that the speed is improved or not. Let me disconnect that, and I'm just refreshing that. I think let me refresh that. Oh, you see my immediately my public IP changed to Lucknow. Let me refresh ip.jscaler.com. You see immediately I connected to Delhi data center, right? Because I'm back to my original location. Now start the speed test. You see the speed, guys. The maximum speed I was getting is 8 Mbps when I was on the US data center. So the the what the final commitment or final conclusion of this troubleshooting is that user should be connected with the right data center, otherwise user got a slowness issue because of not a problem with the configuration, because of the wrong data center connectivity from user laptop, right? So you see I'm getting 27 mbps. Previously I was getting only 8 mbps. You see how much difference that are, right? Okay, and the latency, this is 24 ms only. This is not that much, right? Previously I was getting 290 ms, which is huge, right? Okay, now we'll see. This is my location, this is my Airtel IP. You see that this is very minimal latency. So sometime you will see, guys, any latency is here. Like suppose you will see 50 mbps here. Let me use my pen. You see, if you see that, suppose here you are getting the 100 ms. So then don't blame the Zscaler to issues, problem with Zscaler. No, this part you should only take care. Customer should, if customer working from home, they should fix it with the connecting with their ISP, because this part is not controlled by Zscaler. Traffic once reaching here, after that Zscaler will take care of that traffic. But till now, traffic reaching before Zscaler data center, it will your responsibility. If you are in office, your network team should be responsible. If the user working from home, then user can take care that part. That part will not take care by Zscaler, right? So if you see the latency between user laptop, before reaching to the Zscaler services, then you are responsible. You means user should be fixed at the problem, right? Now let me give you the MTR because that is also good, right? So if you click on MTR, this is average latency even just 6 ms, which is also less, right? Because I'm going to Delhi data center, so that's the minimum latency, right? Now if you want, you can download the same result, and yeah, you can share with the tag or you can share with the user, right? Now if you click on more diagnostic, right? So let me open this as well. So this give you a little bit deeper information. So just wait for some time. So this will give you basically comparison on both speed. My laptop connected with the Zscaler or and direct internet. So even you don't need to disable or log out the Zscaler. You see that you got a two option, right? If I if you see here, this is the this speed. First one is connect going by Zscaler. This is the direct speed. So you see there is not much difference. Why? Because when traffic going by Zscaler, then lot of inspection are there. So don't complain that user is saying that user not getting the same speed when they are speed test by Okla, and they when they connected with the Zscaler, the speed should reduce because your traffic when going by Zscaler, there's a lot of inspection happen, right? URL filtering, cloud application, right? DLP, advanced threat protection, malware protection, sandboxing, right? So all traffic should go by inspection. So you cannot get the same level of speed, right? But is it not like 80 to 10? Ratio should not like 80 to 20, right? It should be like 30 to or 40 to 60 or 50-50 is okay, right? Here speed is okay. This now will give you more visibility. Initially I was getting if you see my previous one. So sorry, where is that? I think okay. So if you see my previous one, this was giving you start from my public IP, right? Right now if you see where I am, okay, this one. Now they start my private IP 192.168.1.6. This is my the private IP. I'm going to the this gateway. So this is 2 ms. Okay. After that, it will going to the internet. Then after, because this is my only ISP part. Geo. This is Geo path. Traffic is traveling. You see, this is not much latency. Less than 1 ms. Less than 1 ms. Less than 1 ms. 8 ms. That's also okay, right? Because this from this may be going from I think this Lucknow to Delhi or something like that, but this is okay. 8 ms is also not bad, right? So you see, if you are getting any latency between this, then user should be responsible, okay, should be take care of that, okay. And if you see this path is clear, then you can open ticket with Zscaler because they should be responsible rest of part, right? So guys, all looks good, okay. One last part, suppose okay, now you also can guys, whenever you are going for troubleshooting call, I will suggest you always download the har file. If you see, if you are able to understand what is the har file, let me tell you, you go to under inspect, and if you go to inspect, okay, let me draw here, you see the network option is there. If you click on that, okay, and I think I need to drag a little bit here, okay. So if I click on that, you see all requests, right? So during the troubleshooting, this is really give you a lot of value content, right? So you see, I got all my traffic behind scene. Sometime if you see, because every website is not a front URL which you are seeing, it may be some API calling behind that, right? Some lot of dependent URL. So you also you see that whenever you going for troubleshooting call, ask customer to share that. So you can ask customer to download from here, right? You can click on that and you can see the format is har file. You can save that, okay. So this is also important. I'm just telling you to understand. Okay, so based on the all analysis, you will get it the reason. Now the last part I will tell you the slowness path, because you got it that connection, that problem not from user laptop to the Zscaler. Zscaler also confirm my path is also clear. Now only you need to check part what from your, from your app connector to the your internal application. Okay, so now this you need to check this path. Okay, so how you can check, let me quickly go through. I haven't live demo, but I just tell you that how you can see that. Treated yourself as a app connector, you have IP192.168.1.100. Then you have backend server with IP192.168.1.101. And the problem with this path from app connector to backend 10 push coming. So I'm running MTR to get dummy output of latency. Okay. So what I told to chat GPT, the app connectors, you treated yourself as a app connector which have IP192.168.1.100. You have a backend application which hold the IP192.168.1.101. Now I'm checking the path from app connector to the backend application, because see that this issue I divide in three parts. One part is from user laptop to the Zscaler Zscaler service edge. Second part I divide from Zscaler cloud itself. The third part I divide Zscaler to the app connector. A third part I divide from app connector to backend application. So two part is okay. The last part I'm checking is from app connector to backend application. So you can run this simple command, directly run mtr supported. So I will tell you guys what is the mtr basically is the path, trace route or something like that, right? It will give you the hope by hope latency. Okay, so you see that we have actually 10, because from app connector to backend application you don't know how many hosts, right? So I run mtr and I get it that because mtr hyphen urc c count is 20, we want to 20, right? If more than that you can increase that. 192.168.1.101 is our backend application. So when I run that mtr, you see that I notice that the latency is increasing after this host, right? You see the average latency is 129, you see that. Oh sorry, 126. 141 is the average latency. 146 is also high, because see from app connector to backend application mostly local, right? Otherwise you can also validate, sometime it will go to the azure or or aws, that you need to validate, but this is the high latency, right? So you can, now you can tell your network team or server team, could you check the this path, like, because I noticed that from even from this path. Okay, because this is okay from this to this host, after that this is getting the latency. So now you can confirm that the problem with the internal path, not with the user laptop, not with the Zscaler, not with the even app connector. So this happening from app connector to backend application, there is slowness issue, right? So you can get it like that. So guys, I think I'm good right now, and so let me complete our video. Thanks for watching this video, guys. We'll meet you in next video. So we are starting this scenario based question answer series. So maybe later you will get more questions. So keep subscribe our channel. Thank you for watching.